They had to make shit up to talk about because everything was so awesome in 2019. And then the Chinese opened their little box.
Cut all of that, Mr. Stafford. It's time to begin to... Welcome back to the next episode of Good Taste Podcast. I'm Chris Bedford here with Daniel Turner.
Great to be back.
And
we haven't even started drinking yet.
I know.
But we make each other laugh, and that's good.
And you've been in Jolly England, Bonnie Scotland, Johnny England,
Jolly old
England.
Happy England, the motherland. It was
Is
great.
it happy?
Where I was, I am writing a piece for this weekend where I'm going to call it the British Freddie, meaning that, remember that Instagram guy, Freddie? We talked about this on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Who was
Is
here
it
for
the German
World Cup, right? And was all over, not in cities. He was all over rural America and fell in love with it. I was in London for about 36 hours and then got the hell out. And where I was in rural England was thoroughly British. There were no headscarves. There were no calls to prayer. There were no immigrants. There was no dirt. There was no crime. I was in very rural counties and it was magnificent. And if England starts to battle back for their identity, which they're going to have to, that's where the men are going to come from. They're going to come from the north, especially. It was magnificent. It really was.
I've got to do that.
Yeah.
I always spend all my time in Londonistan. And you can find great pubs. You can find good food.
Yep.
There's some really cool history in London. But by and far, it's a global city, which is exactly what they wanted it to be, right? Yeah. It's not English anymore. No. And the architecture still has it, but it's not there to represent England or Britain. It's there to represent commerce.
Exactly. Very much the way my old beloved New York City is, you know, and when I go home to visit my family, my mom's little enclave of New York is still very Italian, very Catholic, very white, right? But that's a tiny little part of New York City. But when I walk around Manhattan or we go up for TV or whatever, it's the world. It's not. There's nothing New York. There's nothing American about New York City.
I was just in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Shocking level of headscarves. Also, a surprising level of young families. Yeah. The neighborhood I was in, Brooklyn Heights, a lot of people out with their baby strollers.
That's nice.
I'm used to seeing people that age, 30s, 40s, walking their fancy dogs. So to see as many kids as I saw was great. Yeah. And it was actually, still saw a lot of Catholicism. The great ironworkers place that had a glass encased shrine to St. Joseph on top of it. St. Joseph the Carpenter. That was good. And we went up to Governor's Island. It was, once you get away from the crowds, quite decent. Yeah,
you just have to go out of the city, which is what Freddie did, right? I think he started in Auburn, Alabama, because the University of Auburn was one of the hosts for one of the early qualifying cups. So, what German tourist would end up in Auburn? I've never been to Auburn, Alabama, and I'm a big football fan. So he found himself in these small towns in Alabama. It was like, and then from there he had to drive to LSU, had the next one. So he found himself driving from Auburn, Alabama to LSU. As we're talking about the South, you're going to make a mint julep, which we'll get to in a second. So he found himself in these really small, tiny southern towns and southern diners, and everyone's calling him sugar and sweetie. And he was like, this is not what I expected. And that's what we did in the UK. We were in parts, food was very mediocre. It was very simple.
Stunningly mediocre.
Very, very simple, right? It was meat and potatoes and vegetables, and it was incredibly good, magnificently adequate. You would never be like, oh my God, this meal is amazing. But that's not what they're there for. The countryside. I can't imagine a place more beautiful than the Yorkshire Dales. Reminded me a lot of Donegal, Ireland. Just rugged and severe, stone walls up the cliff, sheep everywhere, green, not a car, not an antenna, magnificent. It was just gorgeous. Loved it.
Yeah, and there's not much to do except if you're visiting, though, except for drink.
And
I remember being out in the British countryside and trying to rent a bicycle, and they looked at me. It was like if I walked into a place in Idaho, a city, and said, "Could I rent a horse here?" They'd be like, "What are you talking about? Rent a bicycle?" The kind of shops that you would totally see exist in the United States just don't exist over there. But they have a lot of shops that don't any longer exist in the United States. Like there are still toy stores and bookshops and other things like that. Like Amazon hasn't destroyed England yet, which is kind of cool. But I guess we should talk about the mint julep.
You mentioned renting a horse, so why are we doing a mint julep?
Well, this weekend is a Travers out in Saratoga, which is called the Midsummer Derby. It's the oldest and the most classic of a lot of the major horse races. This weekend, I'll be heading there tomorrow. We'll see when this episode goes up, hopefully in time.
Nice.
But it's people dress up, people have a good time, and a lot of the Derby horses are going to be running, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And because of that, even though we're well past the Kentucky Derby, I've not really gotten my taste of mint juleps. Back before I had a toddler and a son, I drank a lot of mint juleps in the summertime.
Yeah, you did a Derby party, I remember, years ago.
A couple years in a row we did them.
Yeah, and you got the proper shaved ice, which we apologize. We don't have an ice shaving machine here, so we have to use cubes.
It's 2026.
You had huge buckets and you had mint juleps, like you had mint julep stations. It was a great party.
And now I've got all these cups that I pulled them out of the cabinet, and they have little kid smudged fingers all over them. And I'm like, I need to use these again.
Yeah.
Do you like your sweeter, regular, not sweet?
Not normal level of sweetness.
Normal level of sweetness?
Yeah, I think sugar is good, especially with mint, because they complement each other, right? But you don't want it to taste like toothpaste. And I think that's what a lot of times, like if you go get a mint julep at a horse race, and I'm bummed I'm not going to the Travers. This is my first time in, like, I think this will be my first time in 4 years that I haven't gotten to Saratoga.
Why not go?
Can't, just commitments.
Fly up Saturday. That's when Jordan and Josh are going.
Which I wish, but just not possible.
Do it and let the English see you do it.
We're in the process of moving on from the service dog we're raising, and so this Saturday is a big thing for that, and then we surrender him to the special needs program. So yes, I am a good person. Thank you very much.
If you ever told me 12 years ago that you would be raising dogs, which you didn't like 10 years ago.
No.
For disabled children who you didn't like 10 years ago, then
that's not true.
Then you would totally deny it up and down.
Yeah.
So what I've got here is I got some mint that I've grown in my garden. Who am I kidding? My wife has grown in our garden. 6 leaves, 7 leaves, not that big. And I gave you about 1 ounce of simple syrup.
Yeah. Did you do any at all or no?
I did half an ounce.
Okay. Yeah, what I was saying is...
Otherwise, I drink it too quickly.
When you get mint juleps at horse races, normally there's so much mint and so much syrup that they just taste like mouthwash, or toothpaste. Like it's so mint, and it becomes a little artificial. So I think a little bit of sugar is good, but it's not a sweet drink.
And Woodford is one of the most honest bourbon companies. They don't pretend. A lot of places you go to get bourbon, you go to the distilleries, they'll be like, back when the buffalo roamed out here, a young man came out the woods, his statue over there. And it's like, yeah, but that story of that guy in the woods was like 100 years before Brown Forman started a distillery here. It's got nothing to do with it. The Woodford guys were like, yeah, Brown Forman actually, we wanted to compete with Grey Goose with the premium vodka. So we decided to make a premium bourbon. So we found a great old abandoned distillery. University of Kentucky grad students surveyed all the abandoned ones. We thought this was the prettiest, so we bought it. It was in Woodford County. We focus tested the whole thing, and the groups liked Woodford Reserve, so we started making our bourbon here.
There we go.
And it was good. And then they said, well, how do we get accepted? We could pay money to the Kentucky Derby to make us the official sponsor of the Kentucky Derby. And every Kentucky Derby, we will print bottles that have horses on them for the Derby. This guy's just a scientist. I'm talking to this master distiller.
Yeah.
And then he says, try some of my bourbon. Pours it out of the barrel. Unreal.
Yeah.
Unreal. So it's like, oh, you don't need to make up stories about the Indians and the buffalo. You can just make good bourbon, and that's what they do. Yeah. This is going to be sloppy. I should have brought a scoop.
Pappy used to, you can use your hands. At this point, yeah. The alcohol will kill any disease anyway. But yeah, you do go to every bourbon place you go to. There's some Pappy himself was here in 1862 and his horse drank by these waters. Like none of this is true. Just you don't find that in vineyards. It's normally just like, yeah, my wife and I retired and I used to work for Goldman Sachs and I have hundreds of millions. So we bought a vineyard and we named it after our beloved yacht. Right, and there you go. Like that's the easiness of going to a vineyard. But
Jack Daniels doesn't like to try to tell the whole story of Jack Daniels because there's not a lot of recordings that he was that swell of a dude. Actually, I mean, he was basically orphaned.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It is nice to drink it out of this glass also. See, we bring proper stemware to the podcast.
Yeah, crushed ice makes a huge difference. And if you're making this at a party,
That's nice.
or making it for a lady, or just have a sweet tooth yourself, you crush the ice, you mound it up, and then you take a sprig of mint and whack it in the back of your hand to release the aroma. Pop it in there and put a blast of confection sugar. And you put in a straw, or don't use a straw actually, and you can if you want to, but drink it, and the ice filters up, and the bourbon comes up from the bottom. I made us like a full glass. Like, this is so improper.
Yeah, this is a big drink.
And at the same time, you're smelling the mint, because the mint's flavoring the bottom, but you're smelling the mint with your nose and being able to pull it in. And that is the proper way to make an old-fashioned
I don't know the history.
mint julep.
I don't know the history of why the mint julep became so associated with the Derby. I mean, obviously bourbon, but did they grow a lot of mint, or was it just to cut through it, or is it because you can't have a full glass of bourbon starting at 8
I should have
a.m.?
researched this.
I don't know why. Yeah, but
all I know is that the mint julep was introduced to Washington, D.C. at the Round Robin Bar.
Which we've been to.
Yes.
Great bar.
And sometimes they make you a phenomenal mint julep if you tell them to go light in the sugar.
Okay.
Because the old recipe is very sweet.
Yeah.
It's a great mint julep, though. I've only had one bad one there ever when I give them special instructions. And that was introduced by a politician who came up from Kentucky.
We went, I remember, right at Christmas time, we were going to see the White House
Best
decorations. And we were like, well, let's just go have a drink before. And I think us and 9 million other people had the exact same idea. Oh yeah, you were with us. What am I saying? And we really kind of didn't even get in. Like, we stood we got a drink and we stood like pressed against the wall. It is a great bar. Does your audience know? Does our audience know that that's where the term lobbyist comes from as well? That
I doubt it.
Yeah. It wasn't Grant. Who was the president at the time? Grant is now stuck in my head, and I'm not going to remember who it is. Taft.
Okay.
I think it was Taft, because it is walking distance. Now, the Willard Hotel, which is there now, has been rebuilt, but there's been a Willard Hotel there for a lot longer. The original Willard had a bar in the lobby, and Taft would go at the end of the workday from the White House because, it's a couple blocks away, and he'd go and have himself a cocktail. If it's not Taft, I apologize. And so people knew that he would like to go there and have his drink in the evening, so they would hang out in the lobby and wait for him to walk by and buy him a drink. Or, Mr. President, oh, hey, how you doing? He just wanted to talk to you about a couple things. And that's where the term lobbyist comes from, of people who kind of find a back way into power circles through drinks or and DC used to be way more fun. I'm old enough to remember the what was his name? The guy who was Abramoff. I was going to say Madoff as well.
Yeah.
the Abramoff scandal, because when I was working on the Hill pre Abramoff, I mean, you would get private jet. You guys want to go to the Super Bowl? We have yeah, sure, let's take it. It was great. Nats tickets, luxury boxes, like that was just part of the deal. And I don't think my boss's vote was for sale because he got a Super Bowl ticket, but during that Super Bowl, you had the chance to sit next to a pretty high, powerful senator and say, really quickly, what do you think about? And that's how everyone makes deals. I mean,
he got so railroaded,
so ridiculous. And it still exists. It's just now circumvented through.
Everybody was taking his money and enjoying his hospitality, and a lot of people are involved in his very same business. And then when he got arrested, it was oh my gosh, I can't believe there's gambling happening here.
Yeah,
and it was total BS. I met him when he was released from prison. Tucker Carlson threw him a book party at his home because he hates pile-ons and was like, this is ridiculous. Yeah. Why is everyone piling on this guy for all their own sins? It's scapegoating him. And he helped him sell books to his friends, and I bartended it as a young guy. And so I have a signed book from Jack Abramoff. Nice. Says, thank you for the first good night I've had in a very long time.
That's awesome. Yeah. And what's ridiculous is that, all right, so they had all these silly reforms because we're not going to be corrupt anymore. And yet we still have politicians like beloved Speaker Emerita Pelosi, who are worth $450 million, like soon-to-be former Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who's made, what's his face out in Ro Khanna. It was something absurd, like 35,000 stock trades a year, which is not almost possible. I mean, that's hundreds.
He's supposed to be like the populist Democrat.
Yeah, and so they're not going to the Nats game on somebody's dime, but they're still doing an awful lot of. Look at Fauci, the hearings earlier, which we would get to eventually. One of the things he was pressed on the most is during this whole pandemic, you had a lot of your staff full time getting you awards and sponsorships and speaking gigs, paid gigs. There were 8 people on the federal dime who were making him personally rich. And the guy ended up with something like $5 million more in his bank account after a year's worth of pandemic. So Jack Abramoff is corrupt, but if you're Dr. Fauci, somehow you can still become very rich in the process. So if you want to be corrupt, you will find a way to be corrupt. I'm sorry.
And also, I always heard that I'd miss the good old days when I got to DC. But now I look at these kids, they're going through mandatory sexual harassment training.
Yeah.
There's cell phone videos of anything you ever do. You can't just go out and drink at a bar. People are tweeting everything. Your high school activities and lyrics you would post could follow you into your career.
Yeah.
And the cocaine has been poisoned. And I'm thinking,
it's a terrible place.
Turns out my post-Abramoff days seem like glory days to these young kids. So I think everyone who gets to DC is like, man, it used to be awesome here. Yeah. I mean, there's got to be some point where somebody got to DC is like, they used to have slaves. Like this place was wild when I got here. Now it's pretty calm.
It is.
It's like,
it's a lot calmer.
I mean, you go through the alleyways of the way DC built out during the Civil War, and now you're thinking like, man, this place is pretty rough. Look, there's a homeless guy using the restroom in the alleyway. Yeah. Rewind 100 years, like that was an Irish community living in that alleyway. Everybody going to the bathroom. Everyone, no one had homes.
That was home because they were building things like they were day laborers building. Half these buildings were all built by poor Irish day laborers.
Like back in my day, you could walk through the alleys. There's nothing but families. They lived there. Things were great back then.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's just, it is funny how the city has changed like that. And I mean, obviously you can always look back at the good old days, but I
think part of the bipartisanship was that everyone knew everything about everyone.
Yeah.
Now only the Capitol Police have all the skeletons on every congressman and every senator, like the secret CIA or the CIA, one and the same. But I knew Hill staffers who pulled senators out of elevators that they'd collapsed in from alcohol consumption and putting them on the couch in their office. And it was a Republican Hill staffer helping a Democrat. Like, oh man, this 80-year-old man is unconscious from booze. I must have put him in his office. Charlie Wilson broke into the Capitol Police horse stable and would ride around on a horse at night because no one had cell phone cameras. Exactly. You could do whatever. This was a free country.
That's why I forget who was being confirmed, and there were allegations of alcoholism. And one of the senators was like, how many people in this room have cast a vote at 2 a.m. completely? He's like, and I won't name names, but I know. And, someone's like, oh, God, please don't say my name. Please don't say my name. But then they get up there on their dais and they're like, Mr. Bedford, allegations of drinking. It's like, you guys are all drunk all the time. So it's funny. One of the things that makes me laugh about
booze in the cloakroom is a secret to the latent.
That's a sign, right?
Get pizza sent in, put in alcohol, and then you just tell people, like, you're not leaving.
I think we've dumped on West Wing before on our beloved podcast here.
It's the worst show.
For the 4 people who listen, they'll remember the reference. But one of the things that cracks me up about old West Wing episodes is when Hill staffers would come and talk to the White House. And the Hill staffers were always like 73 and fat and nerdy with stacks of papers and PhDs. And they would have these wrestle sessions. And I'm like, have you ever met Hill staffers? They're like 22. They are hungover. Most of them are like just privileged because dad was a donor, or my uncle is related to the congressman's wife. I mean, there are some wonderful Hill staffers. Don't get me wrong.
Some phenomenal career Hill staffers,
but there are some that it's like this is a joke. Like,
we need to triple the budget of Congress.
Absolutely,
it's the dumbest Republican move of all time. It's like, I'm going to save money by cutting your oversight of the federal government. If you want to have a clue about how the federal government has exploded, how we're run by a shadow government, how we're run by a deep state, a massive sprawling bureaucracy. Well, I could give it to you, and it's dumb conservatives saying, my job is to send money back. To what? The sexual harassment slush fund?
Yeah.
What are you going to, you spend every bit of money you have and actually double your budget.
Yeah.
Everybody vote yes. No one can get blamed. If everybody votes yes, I guess they could throw half the bastards out. And then make it so it's a respectable job for people who are if you're 55, 50 years old, and you've got you're sending kids to college, you can afford it, and you're not just going to go be a lobbyist for the weapon, especially for the war industrial complex.
If you have worked in this space for a long time and you've got 30 years of knowledge on any issue, and we need all those people.
Yeah.
It'd be awesome to think I work for the committee on X because I have 30 years of knowledge. But if they're going to pay me $38,500, well, no, I'm not going to work for the committee on X. So I agree with you 100%. Congressional budgets should triple almost. And it's no one wants to work there forever. Also, this idea that they're going to get fat and rich. The only people who work in DC forever are the bureaucrats and the agencies because they can't get fired. The Hill will always change because your boss loses an election, runs for a different office, gets appointed to be ambassador. So no one has a job permanently. Every election cycle, every Hill staffer is a little bit nervous, without a doubt. Second thing they need to do, if you've been on the Hill anytime recently, and I am there, unfortunately, quite a bit. Not unfortunately because I don't like it, but it's just, I have to spend a lot of time knocking on doors. It's a dump. And it's horrifying. It's embarrassing. You go into congressional offices, you cannot believe how shoddy and run down it is. Because they're, again,
I've never noticed.
We're not going to spend money on this is the office of the person who represents X state. It should not look like this. The carpet should not be frayed. It's kind of what President Trump said when he walked into the White House. The carpet should not be frayed.
It was that congressman who got in trouble for spending his whole budget trying to make his office look like Downton Abbey.
That was Aaron Schock.
Aaron Schock.
America's favorite closeted Republican.
Not anymore.
No.
He's way out of the closet now.
That was the best. And
I have a bunch of Aaron Schock pins and stationery from my pal who was his chief.
If he just embraced hisness, he would have survived. Right? There was a lot to like about him. He
represented like a hyper-conservative
There was a lot to like about him. But he was an idiot.
He was funny.
Oh yeah, he was funny as could be. He was irreverent. We kind of need that a little bit, There's
a couple of politicians who could have definitely survived. Al Franken should have just stuck around for 3 more months, and he'd still be a U.S. senator.
Yeah.
Instead of whatever he's doing now.
Ted Kennedy, he
got taken out by brain cancer.
Well, but those guys look at Al Franken and being like, resign.
Oh yeah.
What? Resign?
Absolutely not.
What, did you kill her? The old chuckle.
But it's okay if you did.
Yeah. Yeah, just remarkable. I mean, and there are some changes that had to have happened in government that are good. Probably that's a little bit. But this idea that we're not going to be corrupt. If you want to be corrupt, you will be corrupt.
I know. Here I am as a reporter, being back in the good old days before there was any accountability in Washington.
Yeah. If you're going to be an honest broker, and I will say this about Senator Graham, whose funeral was just the other day, may he rest in peace. I thought the most impressive thing about him, because I was not a fan. The most impressive thing about him was that his net worth at the end of his life was still 1.3. He did not make, and for someone who was very closely tied to the military, he should have, in theory, been raking in huge contracts.
It does speak well to him that
that's impressive.
He devoted all of his time and attention to just bombing other countries, not for money, just for the love
of bombing, just for the love of killing people who he thought deserved to die.
He had a long list too. A lot of people he thought should die.
One of the things I did not like about him is that every country he saw was like, how do we kill those people? Right? It's like when a guy goes
old school though. He's got a certain old school way.
It's like a guy at a frat party who's like, how can I sleep with all of these? Lindsay would see him out and be like, how do I kill all of these?
There's something Machiavellian about it though. And he kind of embodied that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody does politics quite like he did anymore right now in Washington, D.C. So look at the neocons. Donald Trump comes to town. They take their ball. They go off. They start these podcasts where they listen to. I'm going to make fun of them here as the podcast with 30.
They have their publication, The Bulkhead.
Only their friends listen to their podcasts. Not unlike our own, but we, unlike them, are intelligent.
Yes,
and awesome and cool.
Yep.
They go off and do that, and they refuse to partake.
We don't diddle children. Right?
No diddling.
Which is very good. That's not a high bar. Not a high bar, but we don't do it.
But then Lindsey Graham just sticks around and starts going golfing with Trump a couple times a month and talks to him on the phone every day and is just his charming self. And before you know it, Donald Trump, the screw George W. Bush and the whole family for all their foreign wars is like, all right, Lindsey, where do you want to bomb?
Yeah.
We'll do a little bomb.
That is where, if Chuck Schumer were a better politician like Lindsey Graham, from first day of 2017, he would have pulled the Lindsey Graham card. We're both New Yorkers. We know each other. Let's get some bagel pizza. Blah. Charm. President Trump likes people who like him. He does, and we all do. Some people like their enemies, right? I think Margaret Thatcher always had a lot of quotes about how she liked to know her enemies. She liked having enemies. She would always quote this one poet as well. Trump,
if you've had enemies, good.
Yeah,
that means you've stood for something. Trump
can be charmed without a doubt, and he's a warm, affable. He likes people. He likes social. Just so like
these are all very different personalities.
Yeah,
all of them are different. But like, let's say Stephen Miller, Mike Lee, Chip Roy. I'm not saying all these people are the same, but all of them could probably get more of what they really care about done if they acted a little bit more like Lindsey.
Just
a little bit more like just a little Lindsey in there.
And maybe that's the Southern. maybe that's just being a little Southern.
Just a little
charm.
bourbon, a little sugar.
And it's remarkable. Like, I always thought from day one, if Pelosi, who was Speaker at the time, and Schumer. I guess no. It was Paul Ryan, right? Because he won both chambers when he won in 16, didn't he? Didn't he come when he was sworn in 17?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's how they got the first big tax bill, right? The first big tax cuts. It was Paul Ryan as the Speaker and Mitch McConnell. But if Schumer and Pelosi had come in the minority party and just started, Donald, we've been here for 40 years, and let's show you around these. They could have accomplished.
We're so glad you're finally
much
here.
More. Yeah. But they were like, nope, we are going to entrench ourselves. And
that's what their voters wanted.
And now their voters are all just a bunch of communists.
You know what's funny about, go on.
No, I don't want to go on. If I started thinking about things I was going to say that I have to.
But I got another group of voters to talk about. I learned this in a Dan McCarthy piece. He pointed out like that the only people who like war as much as Lindsey Graham are the voters of South Carolina. And they just always have. It's like just super ready to.
Let's be first.
They were the last ones in the American Revolution, but they were pretty tough. The battles there were pretty brutal when they got there. Civil War, they were like, we're doing it. We're bombing you right there, now. We're starting this war. We're kicking it off. The voters apparently have just been in favor of conflict after conflict. There's a bunch of military bases down there. Some voters are like, I want you to save babies. Some voters are like, I want you to bomb foreign cities, babies included.
Interesting.
And apparently, South Carolina. I mean, you kind of look at this like, how did Lindsey Graham win? Because people kept on coming out and saying, this guy's super Republican 2 years out of his every 6-year term. He'll publicly tell stories about how he's like, listen, I can't talk to you now, but I can talk to you when I'm done with this primary.
He would be the big amnesty guy. Rush Limbaugh used to call him Lindsey Grahamnesty.
Yeah.
Right? He was huge on amnesty.
He wanted to get those things out of the way because he had his own agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
But but
he always won.
There's just so much to learn from him if you're a populist or your issue is immigration or your issue is a SAVE Act or this or that. Like sugar goes a long way in Washington. There's
a lot to learn about how whatever your issue set is, you're not going to always have a favorable tide or favorable winds, right? And how do you continue to succeed in a climate that is full of failures? Democrats
Bill
right
Kristol,
now
if he died the same week, pushed a lot of the same foreign policies as Lindsey Graham, he would not have the kind of pomp and circumstance that Graham has had because of all the friends that Graham made.
Yep. All of those bulkhead guys, I think they...
is that what it's called? Bulkhead.
The bulkhead.
Yeah, remnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of those guys, if they had just eaten a little bit of humble pie, which, quite frankly, we all have to do in life, unless you're King Charles III, maybe even he even has had to. If they just ate a little humble pie and were like, hey, we came out strong saying Trump is bad, but we were wrong. We love the guy now. Let's work together. Their lives would have been monumentally different.
I've been at the table where he goes around and says, like, you used to be very mean to me, but now you like me.
Yeah.
He doesn't care.
J.D. Vance is a great example. Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio. Little Marco. Look at little Marco down there.
He was a part of the amnesty bill, too.
Yeah.
He was one of the, the gang of 8 And there's so many gangs.
Isn't politics the art of persuasion and compromise? And it's amazing in this city how many are so bad at it. And what's concerning is that this is the new movement in DC or nationally are these communists, which do not compromise. They smile. Mamdani smiles nonstop, his crazy smile, but he's not compromising on a damn thing. And I admire that to a certain extent. They're evil and they need to be categorically defeated in every possible way. But I admire the fact that they're like, we are unyielding in our beliefs.
Have you seen this legislation or law that's still on the books that naturalized citizens can be denaturalized and deported if they are communists? Apparently, it's still on the books. I've done nothing to fact check this.
Let's fact check it.
How hysterical would that be if Ilhan Omar and Mamdani just got denaturalized and deported?
Almost all of them. I think one of the things that fascinates me on the communist growth is most of it is led by liberal white women or men who are, if not foreign born, have deep foreign ties. Mamdani is a perfect example of that. Al Sayed running for Senate in Michigan in the primary, very good example of that. The men who are pushing this tend to be either like are really fat and doughy and kind of vaguely gay and have like bad facial hair and still wear masks, right? They're the ones who are communists because they're just losers, or they're foreign born, or they're...
Well, the KGB called those guys, the white women voters, the useful idiots.
Yeah.
And if you see any country where the KGB was successful in pushing communist revolution, the professor types and all those others, the liberals, including in Russia, were killed very early on. But wouldn't it be interesting if there was someone even worse behind the Bolsheviks?
Yeah.
It's like the Bolsheviks finished the revolution and they kill all the liberal professors, and then they turn around and this is Islamists. And they're like, wait, that's not how it's supposed to work. So you have to figure out who in 2056 is going to be the most vicious in that coalition.
I know.
I don't know. You used to be able to count on the communists. You could count on the communists to be a communist.
Yeah.
So no matter what the liberal thing going on, the college students that come out of the street, and this was across the world. I mean, you go to Tahrir Square and the revolution in Cairo, and there's all these college professors and students out there. We're going to find freedom. And you start to notice from news reports, like there's a pretty strong contingent of young men who are just out there to rape people.
Yeah,
I wonder who they represent. Well, it turns out that's the Muslim Brotherhood. Well, they're right behind, and they're going to kill all of you. And then they're going to be in charge.
That's what's so funny about this recent terror attack in Germany.
That's what a sentence that is.
That's
what's so funny about this.
That's what's so ironic about this recent terror attack in Germany was that it was Germany's gay pride parade, but you knew who drives cars into crowds, right? Like that's kind of obvious.
Women.
And so they didn't know what to do with it. And so what do? You just stop talking about it. It got out of the news cycle.
Asian women.
In a second, because like you can't talk about the fact that the guy did it because of Allahu Akbar. So who's more oppressed? And also Germany, their Pride Parade in the middle of July, like it's a little late. Pride Month was it's like Dunkirk. You're always
Pride
late.
Mark universal?
You're always late on getting stuff done, right? Yeah, I think so. I think it's a worldwide. How do you ask that question without being ashamed of yourself? It's a worldwide. It's like Advent, right? I
think it actually is.
Fix the.
I always go to Britain in June. I always go to Scotland in June, and everyone in Scotland is all up in arms about how the Union Jack flies over the British flag, flies over the Scottish flag. Whenever I'm in Scotland, the pride flag flies above both of them. Yeah. And I just remember looking up there being like, I don't think this revolution's going to work.
Pride flag flew prominently in the White House in the center, and the American flags flanked on both sides during the Biden administration. If that is not the most offensive thing in the world, I don't understand. I don't understand how any pride activist sees that and was like, yep, we are more important, more central than our American identity. Those people are a threat to our country. Just
even
as
Barney
much
Frank was like, "That's not convincing people."
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It just angers people, and it fills them with a rage that they can't express and that they have to subvert because you can't say these things publicly. That creates tense societies. Right, like these are not good things that they're doing to us on a regular basis, and
it makes people angry.
Yeah.
It's just so offensive.
Look at Mamdani, the communist in New York, who published a list of everyone's home address and the house's net worth as part of his pied-à-terre tax. Right, he has this new tax if you have 2 homes in New York City, which sadly enough my family does. used to be a good thing, right? But not anymore. Now you have a 30-40% tax on the second home, again, because of the poor, right? We're going to give the money to the poor.
That hasn't worked yet.
Exactly. But he published a spreadsheet. These are all the people who have second homes, and here's the value of the home, and here's their name, here's their address. WTF. We try not to curse on this podcast. I don't use acronyms because it's cool. I'm not cool. Like that's horrifying that the mayor of the city would publish tens of thousands of names and addresses. He's basically telling his little communist apparatchiks, here's who you're going after, boys. Like, so when you say there's a statute on the book that you can denaturalize communists and send them back to Uganda, I wholeheartedly support it.
It sounds amazing. Like, I'd be here for that political fight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And they used to be able to reject somebody's citizenship over from an application for citizenship over moral turpitude.
Yeah.
Which is not really well defined.
But we all know it, like pornography, we all know what it is when we see it, though.
Yeah.
Right?
I would use it freely.
Yeah.
If I was a Border Patrol officer, I'd look at someone and be like,
yeah,
mark this one under for moral turpitude, back the way you came.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Although I will tell you this, I had more conversation. Like, so where I was staying in Brooklyn, beautiful neighborhood, brownstones, really nice. But the thing about that area is 2 blocks really nice, and then there's like projects, and your car will lose its tires if it's parked on the wrong block, and it's fine if it's just across the street. It was kind of strange. The crackheads, super friendly.
Oh, that's
like
nice.
Way more friendly than Washington, D.C.
Great.
I'm walking the baby because I got kicked out of bed to walk the baby, just didn't wake up the whole house. We're going around looking for bananas at bodegas. New Yorkers very proud of their bodegas. And see this crackhead shuffling towards me, and she runs up to open the door, and then it realizes the stroller can't open. It tells me where the ramp is, and then runs around to open the door to help me with the baby in. I'm walking by, folks, so I'm like, Washington, D.C., not going to be a friendly interaction. No interaction would be a good interaction. And they're like, good morning.
Thank
I'm
you.
like, good morning.
Thank you,
I just like calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice projects.
That's
I knew they were trouble, though, because there was the word garden was in the name. And whenever you see gardens next to an apartment, there's no garden.
No.
Never, ever a garden.
No.
If there was a garden there, they wouldn't have to put it in the name.
Yeah. Little real estate advice for you, which I got from Christopher Bedford, who bought his place before I bought mine, going back a long time, was you were the one who told me, go to the neighborhood, like it's 4 blocks in every direction where we were looking, but go there and park your car at off hours and see what happens. And I remember shooting down one place because I thought it was a great spot until I realized behind it was like, I think it was called Potomac Gardens.
Oh, yeah, it's not a great spot.
And it was
my friend witnessed a decapitation in front of Potomac Gardens in like the 90s.
Like that happens sometimes, right? Like some people off of their head.
Pay your bills, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Queen of Hearts. And it's amazing. You go there at 3 p.m. with your realtor, and it's like, this neighborhood is great. It's quiet because everyone's either at work or like performing their tricks for drug money, et cetera. So everyone's out.
They're sleeping.
You're sleeping. But then you go at like 11:30 on a Friday, and
Potomac Gardens is nocturnal.
You park your car at 11:30, and like you're not sitting in that car for very long because you're like, I got to get the F out of here. Like I am a sitting target. So yeah, that's really good. I'm looking at the camera. Really good real estate advice. Go to that. Like, we're going to put down an offer on this house. I don't know. It's an up and coming neighborhood. Go to that up and coming neighborhood on a Friday night. Or a long weekend, like on Sunday of a 3-day weekend when Monday is off, like last 4th of July. How many people died for that? Oh, another conversation.
Of heat exhaustion and long lines.
Oh my! Go there and park your car and be like, this is the house we're going to put $800,000 into. Let's see what it looks like on Saturday at 1 a.m. It is absolutely worth the investment.
It is.
Save me. Yeah, it's really smart advice. You're the only person who's ever told me that. Surprisingly, my realtor didn't give me that advice.
Shocking. Shocking. It's probably illegal. It's probably illegal for realtors to be like, you should consider the crime here.
Yes. Oh, exactly.
You're not. We got an investigative reporter on this right now trying to figure this out. There's this case that came up, speaking of looking at crime, of these cops in Connecticut who were pulling over illegal license plates, fraudulent license plates. And they found a whole network of fraudulent license plates involving illegal immigrants and criminal gangs. And in response, the Obama DOJ came after them.
Nice.
And at first, they sent the FBI up there to drive around, like Hispanic FBI agents to
do.
drive around to see if they could get arrested, and they couldn't
Yeah.
because they had license plates that were legal. And then they just decided to come down anyways and ruin these guys' lives and destroy their careers and call them racist for busting crime. So that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're working on that story right now, and it's potential for getting a pardon. But it makes me realize, you drive around Maryland, you don't see a lot of paper plates. Drive around Washington, D.C., I feel like 1/3 of Maryland plates are paper plates.
Yeah.
And they're not on cars that just came out of the dealership. No shot.
No.
I don't think they're on cars that have insurance.
No.
I think some of those cars are stolen.
100%.
I think a lot of those drivers are illegal. And the ones that aren't illegal are either driving stolen cars or just dodging tickets. And I used to wonder why they don't get pulled over all the time. And I guarantee it's because of sorts of things like the Obama DOJ going at those Connecticut police officers saying it is racist behavior to pull over fake plates. If I was emperor of DC, first thing to go. Roadblocks, paper plates. See ya.
Imagine if you're a cop and you did all your years in the academy and all your training and now you're on the beat and these are the things you're told to be alert. Like, this is a sign that this is probably bad behavior. Not just the paper plate. That's not the problem. The problem is that if you have the paper plate, it is statistically probable that you have gun, drugs, underage children, whatever it is.
If it's like a new Subaru, brand new, shiny, with waxed wheels, I'm thinking you're probably driving home from the dealership.
Just got home from the dealer.
If you're driving a Nissan Altima, I'm pulling you over.
Yeah, you have a 1998
Unless
Corolla.
it's shiny. Unless
Yeah.
it's shiny.
And so imagine being a cop and you go through all that only to be a cop to do your job and then have the feds be like, you're now under investigation for racism. You're never going to do your job again. You're just going to see
Why
stuff.
would you?
No. And that's why that is the problem, is that like you'll see people jump the turnstile in the subway and cops do nothing. You'll see things happen and the cops do nothing. And you're like, what the hell's the cops like? I am not risking my career over this. I'm not. Sorry.
I was riding my bicycle around in metro station once. Like I had the whole path to go. It was empty. So I got on it and I just rode it. I was in a jacket and tie too. I was coming home from work. Police descended on me.
Wow.
And I just exploded. I said, I've seen 10 kids since we got here run those turnstiles. You're stopping me from riding my bicycle? And the cop says to me with a straight face, those young men were high school students. I was like, oh, I'm sorry.
Teens.
They're young scholars.
Yes.
Young scholars.
The whole new phenomena of teens.
Those were high school students.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if he was telling me that I should be ashamed of criticizing them or if they were allowed to get free fare or if he was talking to me because I was an adult and not a pack who would attack him.
That's probably exactly what
Probably
it was.
all three of those things.
All of those. One of my
I was
favorite.
like, all right, fine.
One of my earliest Bedford stories, which actually I think that's the first time we hung out together when we broke down ducks. Yeah, we broke.
We
down
have to do that again, by
ducks.
the way. My son wants to do it.
And after we butchered all the ducks, and we were like, "You want to go to Trustees?" I was like, "Yeah." And you gave me a beer and cracked it. And we started walking. I'm so naive. And I was like, "We can't walk." And he was like, "We're white in DC. We're fine." And we did. We walked all the way from your place to Trustees, drinking.
Well, that's the
drinking
trick.
out of not even in like paper bottle, like paper bags.
Really,
Like, we
anyone
just,
can walk. You don't have to be white.
It's pretty funny.
Anybody can walk around with an open container in Washington, D.C. What you can't do is break more than one lot at a time.
That's true.
So if you're drinking from a container, you can't be like trying handles.
Yeah.
You can't be smoking weed at the same time. You can smoke weed. No cop's going to care. But you can't smoke weed with an open container.
Yeah, don't smoke weed though.
You shouldn't smoke weed. But I'm just saying how to not get arrested.
Such an embarrassing drug.
It's very juvenile.
So
That's the rule. If you're gonna have a beer in the cab of your car while you're driving on vacation, don't speed.
Yeah.
Don't cut people off.
Don't
pass on the right.
Don't have your kid not in the car seat. Right?
Yes,
Like just
one lot at a time. Also, don't be drunk.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be drunk, don't have a beer open.
Yeah.
This is one lot at a time.
See, more advice. This is a very practical show for everybody.
It is a secret to white privilege. It's not really about skin color. It's about moderation and how many laws you break at a time.
This is not just a podcast about what is prescient and what is happening in culture. It's also a lot of practical advice for our listeners.
Financial crime, don't embezzle. Do one or the other. If you're insider stock trading, don't embezzle. You'll be okay, probably. That's people say there's a big difference between how people are punished for using crack versus cocaine. Well, I've never been at a political event or CPAC where cocaine is being passed around and someone got killed with a baseball bat.
Yeah,
because no one is smoking crack.
Yeah,
it's one law. That's the final lesson. That is the wisdom of Chris Bedford.
That is. It's a great end. It's a great end right there. And I look forward to. I wish that would happen more often. That would be fun. That would make politics a lot more enjoyable, right?
If more politicians broke more rules at the same time?
No, if more politicians just knew to only break one rule at a time. And now look, we're going full circle. A little bit of sugar. Some of them did. A little bit of Lindsey Graham sugar.
Haley Barbour.
Really?
Yeah, never. I don't think that guy's ever been pinched.
Is he still with us, Haley Barbour? I wonder.
I think so.
Take a look. I mean, he was old when he left the Senate.
But in great health.
And he was
physical specimen.
Just fantastic.
Yeah. Just a picture of fitness.
I know. Yeah. Funny how many guys we've gone through. It would be curious to do a list of the senators when we got here to the ones now. I mean, there's always 100, but I would say it's almost 600 in total. How many people have? There's very few have been here the whole time I've been in D.C. Very few. Schumer is one. Right, Grassley.
The Senate turnover is different, but that's one thing that people are going to see. The House turnover is pretty quick.
No one knows the House. I was a Senate snob, but we always made fun of the House because they had to wear pins. Their members even had to wear pins because no one knew who they were. So if you're a Senate staff, you're like House. It's like state college. No offense to state college. Yeah, we would.
No, you offended everyone.
Exactly. But Senate snobs, yeah. But the House, there's so many House members. They don't even know who each other are.
But at this point, it'll be more than 50% Senate turnover since 2016.
I was at a wedding in January sitting next to Congressman X, who's a buddy. And at the next table was Congressman Y, who's also a buddy. And it was January. So a year into their cycle, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, I still haven't met him." I was like, "Oh, come, I'll introduce you." Like, "Hey, Chris, this is Daniel." It's like, "Oh yeah, we've been meaning to get together." That's how many there are in the House. They don't even know each other, and they are both.
It's a big company.
Yeah, it's a big
couple
company.
100 people.
Yeah, Senate's where it's at. Yeah,
but I can see why people wouldn't want to. I would never want to be a senator. I would love to be a senator for like 12 years, as long as I didn't have to run, didn't have to ask for money, didn't have to do anything. Just be there, see what it's like.
Most want
get the pomp, get the circumstance, get a motorcade.
Like the Pharisees, they want to be greeted on the corner by their title, and they want the fancy robe. That's why you want to be a senator.
That's exactly it.
We should make them wear togas.
Exactly.
We should make them wear togas. Also, still, they should old Roman.
But it is
days.
weird when powerful people become senators. It's like, why is Rick Scott a senator? He's a strange bird. But like, why is this guy a senator? Like, why? When they were talking about the Secretary of the Treasury, Bessent, going to be a senator. No way.
No.
That guy's a kingmaker.
Yeah.
He's not going to trade it in to be arguing with Thune over what gets to go to the floor.
Over procedure.
No shot.
Well, according to Rule 37D, and then you need to file this by 3, and I will raise and I'll object. And it's like, this is ridiculous.
Commuting from your home.
What's good about it is that it stops a lot of laws from moving forward, right? Like the procedure is what protects us from every law that's passed.
Well, that's why the DSA
freedom.
wants to get rid of it.
Well, exactly, because we can say, do we say retarded on this pod? We're comfortable with that word. Yeah, with the retarded Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez when she said the Senate is a vestige of Jim Crow. That is a genuinely retarded comment.
But yeah, there's a lot of midwits in politics. She's a dimwit.
Fascinating, like anachronistic, ignorant. Well, the Senate's a vestige of Jim Crow. That's like saying the House is a vestige of the Telegraph. Like, it just, in terms of chronology, it makes no flipping. It makes so little sense. I get angry thinking about it. And she's a powerful person. The Senate is a vestige of Jim Crow.
Was she trying to say that the Senate was invented to keep the balance between the slave states and the free states?
Oh, you're giving her so much latitude. You're a generous heart, man. You've become a dad. Look at that. When you become a dad, you become open and retarded comment. That's embarrassing to have to entertain that. And one day I'm going to get called to testify again, and I've done it many times, and she's going to ask me a question, and her staff is going to watch this, and they're going to make my life miserable for 5 whole minutes.
But they'll increase our viewership.
But it is insanity to think that this person has power, and insanity to think that if we lose the House in November, she could be the committee chair of something prominent, and she will be because
she represents one of the boroughs. I mean, you go there. It's not that insane. Is it that far a stretch?
It's my borough.
Well,
My family's not anymore. Not mine. I'm a Virginia.
A lot of education, not a lot of know-how.
I am now a Southern gentleman who's drinking bourbon. Wow, we did some damage on that in just one drink. Maybe that's why I'm so verbose. Good word. Thank you. We should call it quits before this gets ugly.
All right, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I think I got a little bug in mine.
I saw this guy at the gym who said, I'm excited to vote. I am
A
excited.
little bug.
Oh, yeah, fruit fly. I'm excited to vote for my daughter.